it's Casey the Blondeshell again, and I'm back for another video tutorial. I had a friend ask me the other day for some help on how to do eye makeup. She was looking for something for everyday wear, you know, for the office, whatever. So just kind of simple, not too dramatic, and I figured I could show you guys how I do my eye makeup. So, alright, here goes. Since we are going to go for something sort of subtle, I figured a great palette to use would be the Urban Decay Naked palette. And these are all, you know, pretty neutral colors. This is it's got a little bit of a shimmer, the Venus does, but the rest are all pretty matte. So it's Venus, Foxy, Walk of Shame, Naked 2, Faint, and Crave are the colors. Okay, so now that we know which palette we're going to be using, I'm going to show you the most important brushes to have. I use a bunch sometimes, but you don't need them all. So for the lid, it's wise to have something like this Bare Minerals Wet to Dry brush, as you can see. And this is a great one for the lid. And then you also want, this is kind of like an all-over shadow brush. I use this for under my brow for a highlight. And then you're going to want a crease brush of some sort. Now, I love an angled crease brush. One of my favorites is this one from Bare Minerals. It is, I think it's like $18, maybe $20, but it's a great brush. And then there's this one, which is a much cheaper alternative from Eco Tools. This one's like $5.99. And this is another one that I use often. It's also really great to have a blending crease brush like this. So it's not angled, but it'll certainly help blending and pulling your crease inward. Another one that I use is this little, it's like a mini Buki brush for your eye. It's another Bare Minerals brush, and this was a limited release, I believe. And this is just really great when you have a lot of color and you just want to blend it all out. So first step is obviously to prime. So I use Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and this is a really great anti-crease primer. And it's got a little bit of a tint to it, if you can see that. It's kind of a neutral color. No shimmer, so that's good. So you go ahead and put that on. And what this primer will do is it'll give you a lot longer wear. So if you're gonna do your makeup first thing in the morning, go to work, come home, your eye makeup will look like you haven't, you know, that you just did it. So it's really great for that. One thing I was going to do, just to show the difference in the brand and price points, is I'm going to use the Ulta Silk color. This is Silk. It's one of my favorites for my lid. On my right eye, where I'm going to use the Venus on my left eye, just to kind of show. And I'm going to use the Silk Wet. So that'll show a big difference in the pigment. Obviously, if you're going to use wet, it'll be a lot more highly pigmented. So I'm going to go ahead and dip my brush in my water. Don't get it too crazy wet, and then once it's a little wet, I'm going to dip it into the silk. Get it on both sides. Okay, so got this, and I'm going to just do it on my right eye. Start in the center, or the inner eye, and just gently tap and pull out. I don't like to go all the way to the outer corner of the lid, especially if I'm using a wet. If I'm using a dry shadow, it's not as big of a deal, but I just like a very even base when I'm going to do my crease. So now that I've done Silk on this eye, I'm going to do Venus on the other eye. Okay, so now you can see the difference between Venus and Silk. This is Venus, this is Silk, this is a semi-matte color. It had a little bit of shimmer on this brush still, but you can kind of see the difference in the pigment. If you want to save a little bit of money, dip your brush in water, use the Ulta colors, you're doing great. Okay, so now that we've gotten our lid color on, we're going to go straight into our creases. So while this Bare Minerals brush is my favorite for the angled crease, I'm going to show you how to use the Eco Tools because it's much more budget friendly. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Naked 2, which is the lighter of the browns, dip my brush in it straight on to create a little bit of a make the blending a bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and just brush on in the center of my eye. You'll see, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to dip the angled crease brush in my Faint, which is the darker brown. So I'm taking the angled crease brush, closing my eye, starting at the very bottom of the lid, and just gently tapping making almost a V and going up into my crease. You'll just kind of follow the natural contours of your eye. It's kind of choppy right now because we haven't blended out, but as you can see. All right. Now, depending on how dramatic you want your eye to be, you can create more of a depth, a deeper color if you want. I'm going to go ahead and do this eye. One thing that I really love to do when I'm doing my eye makeup, if I'm trying to get a really great crease, a deep crease, I'll dip my brush in the dark color on both sides and touch it to my eye and open my eye, as weird as that is, and kind of just pull in to get a better idea of where your natural crease is. And that'll make it a little bit more dramatic, as you can see. Okay, and if you have a blending crease brush, this is when it's great to come in and just kind of tidy up and blend. So I'm blending on the left eye, and you can kind of see how it goes from the corner, the outer corner of the crease up, and then very subtly almost all the way in. So this is when you would take your lid brush again and come and just kind of touch up. Okay, and if you feel like the transition's a bit too choppy for your taste, which this is certainly, this is when this little guy or something similar comes in really handy. So you'll come and just basically, it's almost like you're just buffing it out. Buffing and blending. Huge difference now. Now that we've got the lid color, as you can see, this is Silk from Ulta and this is Venus from Urban Decay. We're gonna go ahead and do a highlight. Walk of Shame, oops, I like to take Walk of Shame, Foxy, and Venus and kind of mix it together. And then just right under the brow, you're gonna start right here, gently brush, just to smooth, and then under the brow. Okay, so personally, I like to have a little bit of a pink shimmer under my brow for my highlight, and I always use my Brows A Go-Go kit because it comes with this beautiful little, it's called brow highlighter powder right here, and it's really great for under your brow. So I'm going to dip my brush in the brow highlighting powder and just gently tap it under the brow to give it a nice shimmer, especially once you finish doing your brows. Just gives it a very subtle shimmer. One thing that I would say is really important, especially if you're doing your makeup in the morning and you're tired, you didn't get much sleep, is make sure you get a little bit of your shimmer on the inner part of your eye. It'll really wake you up. The next step I'm going to show you is a step that a lot of people skip, and I think it's extremely important, and that's curling your lashes. I use a heated curler. It was about $20 from Ulta, but you can use a traditional curler if you want more of a dramatic curl. You can just run your traditional eyelash curler under the blow dryer for like just a few seconds. Be careful, don't burn your eyes out, don't rip your eyelashes out. I've done it before, so be careful. Okay, so you turn it on, let it heat up for a few seconds, and then it's kind of like a comb. You just take it and almost like brush your lashes, and then you just hold it. You push up and hold the curler there for about 10 seconds. Okay, so now that I've got my lashes curled, I'm gonna go ahead and do my mascara, or my first coat of my mascara. One of my favorite things to do on anyone is to use two different types and two different coats of mascara. So the very first coat I'm gonna use is Bare Minerals Lash Domination. So, and it's got a really cool little brush. As you can see, it's kind of like twisted. So I'm gonna take it, obviously the mascara, and just apply it. Close, twist, pull. Okay, so you can see that I've got a little bit of mascara on my eyelid, so I'm gonna let it dry because I don't want to smear it or make it worse. So I'm gonna let it dry and then I'm gonna clean it up once it's dry. I like to do a coat of mascara on my liner and then I do another coat of mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my liner, and I just use haven't really found a liner that I like more than this one. It's drugstore liner, but it's great. Maybelline Master Precise by Eye Studio. See? So it's got like a little felt tip, and the only thing is that it runs out pretty fast, but for $7, what do you expect? Okay, so I'm going to start towards the middle, closer to the inner, but not all the way. So start in the middle, just press and pull. And there's the tiniest bit of a little winged liner. Same with this eye. Okay, now for the second coat of mascara. Second coat is one of my favorite mascaras. It's Benefit They're Real. Okay, and this is gonna make all the difference in my eye makeup. So right now you see my eyes, obviously they have a little bit of mascara on, the liner's on, everything's whatever. This mascara one is gonna make all the difference. Okay, so can you see the difference between the two eyes? Pretty intense. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply my second coat on my left eye as well. So there's that, and then I'm gonna show you my final step. And it is a part of the Brows A Go-Go kit again, and it's Eye Bright. So I'm taking my Eye Bright brush, you can just use your finger if you need to, and I'm dipping it in the Eye Bright. And then I'm just gonna come right out here on the outer part of my eye, inner, and outer. Okay, so that's that. Now that I got the eye makeup done, I just wanted to give you a few more tips. The first tip would be, if you don't have a primer, you can use a white shadow. If you get mascara on your face while you're applying it, let it dry, and this is anywhere. Let it dry, and then you'll take a Q-tip once it's dry and press it to the spot where you got mascara. And most of it, if not all of it, will come off on that Q-tip, and whatever else hasn't, you can clean up. If you have a problem with your crease brush and doing your dark color and too much dark shadow falling under your eyes, you can either use masking tape under your eye, you can do your foundation last, or you can just make sure you're not getting too much of the dark color on your brush when you're doing it. And also I like the packed, like the press powders, press shadows for that. I don't like to use a lot of loose powder shadows for the crease. So that is it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you have any tutorials you'd like to request for me to do, I'd be happy to do so. Let me know if there's any products you'd like me to review. Again, I'd be happy to do so. And other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and as always, stay beautiful.